whatever he wants. So next thing you know, he comes down and this bookie brings me a phone. I'm like, what the fuck's this? And it was an encrypted phone. It was a phantom encrypted phone. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this? He goes, there's no microphone, there's no GPS, all it is an encrypted phone. These things are like $1,000 a month. And my uncle wants to communicate with you on it. And I'm like, man, what did I get myself into? You know, I'm communicating on an encrypted phone. And I remember the guy wrote in English, hey, Wedo, I like how you do business. Do you mind helping me out in California? I'm like, helping you out? Sure, what do you need? Like, you know, I'm ambitious. I'm gonna help anybody out I can if there's money involved. He's like, I got safe houses and stash houses throughout the United States, and sometimes I need to pay people. He says, I see you work good, and I could tell you have a big organization because you paid me on Monday, and it was just a quick transaction, like it was nothing. He said, you know, sometimes I need 100,000 here, $250,000 in North Carolina, sometimes $500,000 in Texas, wherever it may be. I need to pay people, and I need to pay them in cash. I'm thinking, well, I got agents all over, you know, the United States for the bookie business, so it's an easy transaction for me. He's like, I'll pay you 10% on anything you do. So I'm like, fuck, that's easy. A phone call. Hey, Johnny, can you drop off $100,000 over here? Hey, Raul, can you drop off $250,000 in North Carolina? It's like that, and I'm going to make 10%, no brainer. So I start doing that for him, and he's like, all right, here's your money plus your 10%, where do you want it? Like that. And I'm like, man, this guy does good business. And then the big question came, he said, hey, Wedo, do you think you can pick up $1 million in Texas for me? I'm like, pick up $1 million? Okay, what? I was just dropping off money for you, now I'm picking it up. He goes, it's my turf, it's my rival turf. It's my rival's turf, he said. I said, oh, fuck. I said, I think I know what kind of business this guy's into. You know, if it's the rivals, okay, I'm thinking to myself, that's the Zetas over there, you know, at the time. And I'm thinking Texas, okay, that makes sense. He says, pick up 100, or pick up $1 million, and I'll give you 100,000. I'm like, pfft. I said, no brainer, you know, I'm 24 years old. So I called my boy Tank, who's an Avalon Crip, and I say, hey, Tank, I got a job for us. I said, go get one of your UFC buddies. I said, we're getting on a private plane, and we're gonna go pick up a package. You know, I didn't tell him the amount. I said, I'll pay you $2,000, I'll pay your UFC buddy $2,000. So he calls his buddy Diego. He says, hey, we're going with the boss. We gotta go pick up some money. And I called the private plane company, and I said, hey, I need you to pick me up. So he shows up in this King turboprop, and I got Tank and his boy from the UFC, and we're on this private, you know, dual prop plane, and we land in Texas, Browning, Texas. I'll never forget it. And I get there and I message El Jefe, okay, I'm here. He goes, give me 5 minutes. And there's a gardener that shows up. I'm like, fuck, a gardener? What's this gardener doing? Comes out, he's wearing overalls and this dump truck. I'm like, man, there's no way this guy's gonna have $1 million bucks. He comes and gives me a duffel bag. He goes, this este para el jefe, this is for the boss. I'm like, oh fuck, the boss, okay, let me grab that. I'm like, am I gonna get like ransacked right now? Or the fucking cartel, am I gonna get whacked? Like, I don't know who I'm dealing with. So I get on the plane and we fly into the Torrance airport, and I land. I say, hey, El Jefe, I got your package, where would you like it delivered? He goes, take your 100,000 out and deliver 900 here in Torrance. I was like, boom. 10 minutes later, I said, done. Next day, he messaged me back, Wedo, I like how you work. You do good business. So then he asked me the famous question, the question that cost me, you know, my prison bid. He said, do you know anyone in Australia? I'm thinking to myself, what is this, Australia now? I thought we were in California here. Yeah. You don't know Australia? He says, Wedo, I could do the same thing you're doing in the US right now for me, but I'm gonna make you $1 million a day. I'm like, bet, like where do I sign up? I said, give me a couple days, let me figure if I have any contacts in Australia. That night I remembered my mother has a sister, which would be my aunt, that lives in Perth, Australia. Oh, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I do have someone. So I wrote him back the next day on the encrypted phone. I said, hey, El Jefe, I got an aunt that lives in Australia. He says, okay, get ready, you're going. I said, wait a minute, what am I doing? And he says, I have some of the best product in the world that's in Australia. And I'm thinking to myself, product, man. He says, I have a ton of cocaine in Australia right now. I'm like, holy shit. He goes, and the price for wholesale is $100,000 a key. I'm like, holy shit. said, what have I gotten myself into, Big Herc? So I was like, man, 100,000 a key. I said, man, I sold grams in high school, or I sold grams in college. I've never even seen a kilo, let alone moved them. So I'm thinking to myself, man, what am I going to do? Like, the fuck, who's going to sell this shit, right? So I go to my Rolodex and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to find someone to move this product. I don't even know where to begin. And being from California, you know, we got a lot of people in the weed game. So I reach out to one of my buddies from USC who played baseball, and I remember his brother was a weed grower, and I said, you know what, I'm going to ask him. Maybe he can connect me with his brother who's a weed grower. Maybe he has some kind of, maybe just an international contact. Let's just check. So I go to USC, and I said, hey, your brother's still in the game? He goes, my brother's not in the game, but he still associates with the people. What do you need? I said, man, I need someone that's international. He's like, dude, you're in luck. I said, what do you mean I'm in luck? He goes, his friend from Italy, who's an associate of one of the 5 families, is visiting him right now, and they're playing racquetball in San Diego. I said, you're kidding me. I said, well, can I drive down? He goes, yeah, you can drive down and meet him. So I remember I got in my car, I drove down there, and I meet this Italian dude. He's old, like 65 years old, gives me a kiss on the cheek, like I'm smelly Italian. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. Like, he's a dirty ass Italian, you know, and I didn't know who he was at the time.
Yeah.
He says, listen, nephew, you know, Italians always call you nephew. He said, listen, nephew, I'm not talking about any kind of business in the U.S. He says, you want to come and talk to me about business? You fly to Naples, Italy, where I live. I said, well, fuck, I got $1 million a day about to be given to me. I'm flying to Naples, Italy. So what did I do? I got on that plane next week, and I met him in Naples, Italy. I pulled up to his villa. He's got 2 villas. He's got his own vineyard. He's doing his own wine. He's a real deal. He's definitely the man. I said, man, they weren't lying. This guy's for real. So I sit down, I have the conversation. I said, I have the best product in the world right now, in a country that's impossible to get to. I have cocaine from South America that is in Sydney, Australia right now. He says, it's impossible. He goes, it's the hardest place in the world to get product to. I don't believe it. Don't waste my time. How's he going to trust this 24-year-old kid, you know? I'm like, I'm telling you, man, I got it. He goes, don't waste my time. He goes, if you really had that, he said, you would be a millionaire right now. I said, no, that's what I'm trying to get at. I said, this guy that I do business with said, I'll be a millionaire overnight if I can move the product. He goes, I can move the product. I got all the contacts over there. He goes, but I don't believe that it's over there. He goes, why don't you go over there and find out it's there, and then fly me over. So what did I do? I flew back to California, told El Jefe, hey, I got a buyer. I said, but he doesn't believe me. He said, man, stop wasting my time. I said, the only way he'll come over there is if I get there and I tell him it's there. He says, get on the plane. He goes, I'm paying for your Sydney ticket. He got me a first-class ticket to Sydney, Australia. Oh, shit. I'm laying in Virgin Australia. I'm laying in the bed thinking to myself, what have I gotten myself into? And I land in Australia, and El Jefe messages me on the encrypted phone, and he says, now tell that fucking Italian that the product is here and that you need him over here. So I told him, I said, all right. So I remember telling the Italian, we'll call him Uncle Louie, right? I said, hey, Uncle Louie, I'm here in Sydney, and it's really here. You got to get over here. So next day he flies on El Jefe's dollar. So, so we get him over there. This old man's wearing like a 3-piece suit. He says, hey, we're in Sydney. You got to dress nice around here. Everyone's wearing suits. It's like kind of like New York.
Yeah.
He says, if you're wearing a T-shirt, you're going to stand out. Everyone wears suits. And he says, we got to look nice. So I go and I get a suit. Now here I am with this Italian guy wearing these suits, and he goes, okay, now we got to get a suitcase because we got to pretend like we're businessmen, and we're rolling this suitcase around Sydney. Everyone has these rolling suitcases. I'm like, okay, whatever he says, you know, he knows the game. I'm new to this, so I'm like, okay. I tell El Jefe, I said, what do we do? We're ready. He goes, go to the Four Seasons Hotel. He says, get a room. He says, in 20 minutes, you're going to have a package delivered. I said, all right, cool. I said, how many? He says, you're going to have 20 birds dropped off. I said, birds? What do you mean birds? You know, I don't know the game, Big Herc. I'm like, birds? Okay. All right, 20 birds. All right, cool. So I get there. I tell Uncle Louie, I said, hey, get a room next to mine. I said, so we're not in the same room. And this package is coming. So 20 minutes later, I get that knock on the door. And there's a guy with a box, and he goes, here you go. I go, holy shit. I take it and I get on. I'm like, fuck, I'm scared. I'm like, fuck, this is going to give me a life sentence right here. You know, anything over 2 kilos in Australia, you're going to prison forever. Yeah. So I knock on the wall. I said, hey, Uncle Louie, get over here. He comes over, he opens it up, and he goes, holy shit, nephew. He says, you just became a millionaire overnight. I said, holy shit, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, let me see what I can do. So he takes it, goes to his people. 30 minutes later, he's back with $2 million.
Damn, that quick.
Yeah, that quick, like that.
Holy
30 minutes.
Shit.
I was like, holy shit, Louie. He goes, they asked when we can get the next shipment.
Damn.
So I'm telling El Jefe, I said, dude, I'm telling El Jefe, I go, hey, I got your money, where do you want it? He goes, just hold on to it, put it in your apartment. I said, man, are you kidding me? I'm holding your money too now? He goes, yeah, just hold on to it. So I'm like, all right. So I get to my apartment and I throw it in the cabinet, and I'm like, in the kitchen cabinets, I'm throwing them up there.
How much did that weigh?
It was $1 million. The duffel bag was huge. It just had to be at least 50 pounds, right?
Damn.
So I'm just stacking all $50 bills. So I'm just stacking them, right? And I'm so nervous. I'm like, holy shit, this is just $1 million. And then we did it again. And we did another 20, and we did another 20. Next thing you know, I got $10 million in my apartment complex. And I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, like, what am I going to do now? Like, is El Jefe going to have someone pick this cash up? Like, what do I do? I message him going, hey, El Jefe, I got the money. What do you want to do? He goes, that's your job. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, what have I gotten myself into? Like, you can't just get on the plane with this duffel bag and $5 billion. Dang, so now I'm fucking freaking out, Big Herc. I'm like, man, fucking A, I didn't sign up for this part. But now I see why he sent me over here. It makes sense.
Get the money out.
Yeah, he wanted me to get the money. Money's the hardest part to get out. The cocaine's easy.
Yeah.
That stuff sells itself.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the money, we didn't have Bitcoin back then. Could you imagine? If we had Bitcoin, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. I'd still be working. So I go, man, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this money out? So I called my accountant back home. I said, hey, man, I got a problem. I can't tell him I'm selling cocaine in Australia, right? Yeah. So everyone knows I'm a bookie. Yeah. So I said, hey, this client of mine, this Chinese client, just lost $10 million, dude. He paid me in cash. I said, I don't know what to do. I said, do you have any suggestions? He goes, yeah, I'll fly over. We'll figure it out. He's my accountant, right?
Yeah, he's like, shit, let me get on.
Yeah, he wanted a piece of that. I said, I'm willing to pay whatever. I don't care, I'm scared shitless now. Yeah. I got $10 million in my kitchen cabinet. I got some in the dishwasher. I got it in the bedroom. I got it in the attic, in the bathroom. I am fucking shitting bricks. No pun intended. So he gets over there. He goes, man, I didn't believe that you had this much money. This is going to take a long time. I said, I know. Where do we begin? He says, let's just start buying gold, 1 ounce rounds.
Yeah,
I said, I like that idea. Okay, what are we going to do? Like, you can't bring gold across. They're going to know. He goes, no. What is Australia known for? I said, Australia is known for a few things. Kangaroos, Ugg boots. He goes, Ugg boots. Famous. You know what an Ugg boot is, right? Sound like an Ugg boot. He goes, we're going to buy Ugg boots. He says, we're going to take the soles out of the Ugg boots, and we're going to glue the gold coins on the bottom. You can fit 4 gold 1 ounce rounds in each sole. So that's 8 coins. That's like, at the time, $16,000. And he says, we're going to just start shipping them. He says, what we'll do is we'll start shipping them to our girlfriends, our wives, our buddies from college, whoever. Everyone's getting Ugg boots. Ugg boots, right? Wow. I'm thinking, man, this is going to take forever. I said, isn't there a faster way? I said, shit. He goes, yeah, there's a faster way. He says, now we're going to take the Australian dollar and we're going to go purchase euros. They make a $500 euro note, which at the time was like $750. So every day we'd take 50,000, and we had a team of like 4 guys. His brother was there, his father-in-law was there. And we're around the whole town. We each take 50,000, so that's 200,000 a day, and we're buying these euro notes. So we start putting these $500 euro notes in these comic books, and we're putting them in. And we're filling like 20,000 each comic book, and we're vacuum sealing it, and then we're putting it in at the time eBay was big, so we put it in eBay. Put an eBay sticker like it's coming from Australia, and we send them. Dude, we had 100% return rate. Not one of them got picked off. So it's working, but it's so slow, Big
Yeah,
Rick.
that's a
We're
lot of
talking
work.
like it's so much work. We got a 4-man crew of squares, you might add. We got an
Yeah.
accountant, guy from USC, a fire captain. Like we're talking squares here, okay?
God.
So I'm like, man, this is taking way too long. So I was dating this girl who's from Mexico. I said, hey, do you have any contacts? I said, man, I am in a bind right now. She's like, what's the problem? I said, I got all this money. And this gambler lost all this money, and I don't know how to get it out of the country. She goes, why don't you use the casinos? I said, the casinos? She goes, yeah. Get like a high roller to come and just. I said, do you have anybody? She goes, I got the perfect guy. His name's Robin Hood. I said, yeah, what does he do? He's a professional blackjack player. He's a high roller in Vegas. They call him Robin Hood 702. I said, I mean, this is perfect. I said, what do I need to do? She's like, well, you need to fly back to California to meet him. So I'm like, fuck it. I told the guys, hey, you guys keep doing your thing with the coins, the euro notes. And I said, I'm flying back to California. I'm meeting Robin Hood 702. And they're like, all right, whatever you got going, go. So I get to California, and I remember going to the Santa Monica Fairmount. It's a hotel right on.
I know
the
exactly where I've been here.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So it's right on Ocean
Yep.
Boulevard,
Yep.
right there in Wilshire. And I get there, and I meet this Robin Hood. He has his hat down, and he looks paranoid, man. I go, hey, man, I went by the name Junior. I go, I'm Junior. He goes, I'm Robin Hood. He wouldn't tell me his name. I said, nice to meet you, Robin Hood. I said, this is the situation. I gave him the situation. I got a gambler that just lost $10 million. I got to get the money out of the fucking country. I have no other way to get it. This girl I'm dating says that you're the man. He goes, yeah, I'm a high roller. What are you thinking? I said, well, I got like $1.5 million in a suitcase just waiting for you. You want to just try it? A little trial and error? He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm going to charge you 25%. Who cares, right? We're making so much money. Who cares about the 25%? If he can do it, let's do it. I said, 25, you got a deal. I shook on it. He goes, there's more to it. I want a first-class ticket to Australia. I want a Toomey luggage so I can put the money in the Toomey luggage. And he goes, I want the penthouse at the Four Seasons. I'm like, God damn, like this guy, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
He must be a pro, right? Like if he's asking all these requests, he knows what he's doing. So I'm like, all right, got you. Paying for all this stuff. 2 days later, he's in Sydney, Australia. I'm there waiting. Bring him the suitcase, 1.5 million. I go, there you go, have at it. 48 hours later, I get a call. And he's in Las Vegas. He goes, I'm done. Come pick up the money.
Damn.
I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did he do this quick? So let me tell you how he did it. He took the 1.5 million. His casino host from Las Vegas called the casino host in Sydney, Australia, and said, hey, I got a high roller coming in, and he wants to gamble some of his cash. So this high roller shows up to the Star Casino, puts his 1.5 million cash on the table and goes, let's run it. He plays a couple hours, and then he says, you know what, I'm not feeling it. You know what, cash me out. So they take the chips, and he goes to the cage. He says, cash me out. They give him a check, 1.5 million, baby. So he takes that check. He flies to Australia, or flies to Los Angeles, where he's this high roller. Red carpet's laid out. Mr. Cipriani, nice to meet you. Good to see you again. He takes his check. Guess what? They give him the chips, and after that, the game's over. He's got the chips. He can turn them into cash anytime. And back then, it was easy. So he calls me. He says, hey, I have the 1.5 million minus my 25%. Come pick it up. So I'm calling everyone. I'm calling my girlfriend. I'm calling my dad. I said, hey, go pick up this cash for me. I said, this guy's a gambling customer of mine. You can't tell everyone what's going on. So I'm like keeping secrets with everybody. Like, this gambling customer has some cash in mine. Can you pick it up? I got my dad involved. Fuck, what was I thinking? Got my girlfriend involved. What was I thinking? Like, those are the two people you need to protect.
Yeah.
But I was so fucking desperate. I didn't care, man. I had all this money, 10 million, and I still had fucking 900 birds.
He just chilling, waiting?
Yeah, El Jefe's just waiting for his money. So I'm telling El Jefe, hey, I got it. Let's do it. He goes, okay, keep doing it. So I fly back to Australia. I'm still working. I still got my 4-man crew cleaning money through the gold, cleaning money through the Ugg boots, doing the euro notes. And I said, Robin Hood 72 says, hey, let's do it again. I'm like, bet. I got 2.5 waiting for you right here. Like, it's ready. It's in that suitcase, that Toomey luggage.
The Toomey.
The Toomey. So he's like, all right, cool. So he flies over, same thing, Four Seasons penthouse. He goes, this time I'm going to have a crew with me, Fox News. He goes, they call me Robin Hood for a reason. He goes, what I do is I play a little, and the money I win, I take it and I give it to like a poor person, like a charity, and I document it so no one will ever know that we're laundering the money. I'm like, oh, cool, I like the idea. Like whatever you want to do, that's your business. All I care about is my 75% that I'm getting back, right? So he brings this Fox guy, and he's saying how he's going to play this big money that he has, and anything he wins from the casino wins, he's going to give a little money to charity to make him look like Robin Hood, right? Like, I don't care, right? You do whatever you want. Just give me back my